I'm Ashton Addison from the Crypto Coin Show, and today on Blockchain Interviews, we have back with us Bezalel Raviv, CEO of Lionsgate Network, here to talk about crypto scams, social media, how to protect yourself, how to protect your crypto, importantly, and what happens if you do fall for a scam or one of your friends. B, welcome back to the show. It is great to see you again.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you.
You're very welcome. You know, I feel like back in the day, crypto, people used to just call it the Wild West. But of course, there's been a lot of security measures that have been put place in the last few years. And as institutions come in, the space is really cleaned up. But whenever there's a lot of gains and excitement, there's always manipulation and people that are trying to take wrongfully from you. And I've been a target of those as well. Being in the space for a long time, I know a lot about it. But you know even more working in recovery of crypto and helping people that have been phished or scammed. I'd love to start off our conversation about with a little bit about what is Lionsgate, what is your mission, and how did you personally get involved in that to start?
Well, the first mission is to raise awareness in the space as much as possible. I think when you know, then you don't have to clap to the, tricks of a magician on a stage, right? But you need to be a magician to be able to know the trick. So we feel
Mm,
that a lot of people that are in the space are not aware, and the more they are unaware, they'll be targeted. We see 1 out of 3 people that are being targeted in the United States of America between the ages
wow.
of 37 to 45. These are crazy numbers. Okay.
Hmm.
And yes, the corporate in the space are trying to offer, solutions, but it seems that organized crime is becoming more and more evolved in the space of offering sideways to that.
Hmm.
Obviously, they're much more agile in offering ways to target people, and they become really sophisticated over time. We have information about the market and threats in the crypto market since 2021.
Hmm.
Uh, and I can tell you that they have gone from kindergarten and now they have, the academic diploma in that sense.
Hmm.
So the prevention tools and services also have to scale the same way. And if they don't, then that's an open door for someone to hack and steal your crypto.
Yeah, they get more sophisticated as the technology gets better, and AI as well, which maybe we can touch on that later. If AI, it's helping a lot of people, but I feel like it can also be used for manipulation. On the amount of crypto scams, 1 in 3 is a crazy number, and you mentioned an age range there, a little bit higher than myself. Than my age right now, but I know there's a lot of young people that are getting involved in crypto. I'm sure they're probably also being targeted as well. But with that older age group, I could definitely see that. Can you talk about is there with this 2021 study moving on in the latest cycle, is there more scams than before, or is it just the same, but the percentage of people that are getting involved is greater, so the percentage is smaller? Because they're saying the industry is getting cleaned up, but it seems like it's not perfect.
Actually, it's not getting cleaned up. Let's be honest. If it was
Mm.
cleaned up, then we would get different numbers.
Yeah.
In fact, um, I mean, you ask a very beautiful question on do we see more? And the feedback obviously is yes, we see a lot more, but
Hmm.
we are involved so much in the space and with the type of threats and the type of scams and the ways to alert beforehand and to prevent the next and following case.
Hmm.
So we are so much involved that we also attract it in a way, right? So that's where we are.
Hmm.
So, like asking a police officer if they see more crime. The
Hmm.
answer is if that's what they do. They see more
Yeah.
crime.
Yeah.
Uh, so we see that the tactics are obviously far more intuitive and therefore more people that are educated wealthy uh, are likely to react to it because the narrative of the threat was directed at them, right? And therefore, they're more likely to fall. And we see a different trend almost every 3 months. Currently, the highlighted trend is LinkedIn based scams. Okay. LinkedIn, if you think about it, is the most transparent space uh, between all the other social media platforms. You will share where you're from, where you worked, who was your boss, what is
Mm-hmm.
your talent, what are your talents, who you're friends with, who is your colleagues, right? Everything is
Mm-hmm.
there,
Mm-hmm.
and you will use your own photo, unlike Facebook or Instagram, where you can use like I don't know, like an emoji or
Mm-hmm.
a chimp from an NFT collection, right?
Yeah.
This is where you will show who you are. In most cases, of course, nothing is finite,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore it's like on a silver platter for organized crime to just get there, register themselves with a profile. You don't need to go through any KYC process. You can register yourself as an employee at Microsoft, right? And then target the people at Microsoft with this and that. And you have obviously the cell navigator, which
Mm-hmm.
is a specific unique asset for LinkedIn, and you can really target them one by one. And that could be you just need the budget, which they have, and you can interrupt the entire sphere of LinkedIn. And this is what we see. We see a lot of reports coming in the past 3 months um, from scams that were generated at LinkedIn. So yeah, it's changing all the time. And this is why we are so nuclear about it, because it's endless. The
Mm-hmm.
more we understand, the less we understand. The more we need to adapt to. It's a constant workout, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, that's a great point. There is a lot of transparency on LinkedIn. You almost have everything on there besides your home address, where you work and your history and your city, your real picture. So if and I think a lot of people, probably myself included, think I'm too smart to fall for that. But they are so sophisticated, as you're saying, it's getting trickier, and they can even go through people that you think you're talking to, your friend or something. So, what are the main ways, if I was on LinkedIn, for example, to be careful of making sure that I'm not getting scammed? Is it friend requests, messages?
The best way, the only best way, I'm going to say something quite racy, is to close your account.
Oh,
This is how you protect yourself, right? Yesterday, I saw this post about elderly are coming back to dumb phones, and I said, "Oh, actually the most perfect way to protect yourself, because where
mm-hmm.
are you? Where will you be targeted?
Mm-hmm.
Online social media platforms. If
Mm-hmm.
you clear that and you're vulnerable, and all of us are, that's protection. But maybe it's too dramatic, right? You still want to interact with your colleagues and get a post and get likes and get shares, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great boost for morale during these days. So if you still want to keep yourself on LinkedIn, knowing that this is right now the space where you'll probably get more targeted than with the meta platforms that are,
Mm-hmm.
you know, infamous for taking a lot of the victims out there, then I would say if anyone offers you anything in an unsolicited way, your feedback will be no, or ignore, or block. I know, again, this is another dramatic venture to a lot of people because we were taught that it's safe online and we want to interact with strangers, right? Like we take it from Tinder to Grinder to Bumble to we speak with stranger. All of a sudden, in 2025, we forgot what our grandmother used to say to us: never speak with a stranger. And that notion really kept us, going through many threats out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've kind of put that in the archive. And right now we see the outcome. So if you can ignore unsolicited offers, that will be the first thing that I do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes these offers would look very compelling, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen your company. I'll give you something, I'll give you a compliment about your profile or your post. I would like your post for a week or 2 or 3 months. I would give you the sensation that I'm a real interactor. Yes, the grooming period now is far longer in order for you to detour from the narrative. Oh, I don't know this guy. You actually kind of know him.
Mm-hmm.
In your mind, you kind of know him. So they install an idea to your mind, just like the beautiful synopsis of the film Inception by Martin Scorsese. They don't have to plant it in a dreaming phase. They plant it through social media.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of think, oh my God, I actually know these people. No, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And they've given you something for the mind in order for you to be able to say yes to an offer that will arrive very, very shortly after your fences will fall down. So this is the primary, again, coming back to what you can do. You can say no to any unsolicited offers from people you have never physically met.
Mm-hmm.
So in many ways, we have to go back to Web 0.
Wow. Yeah. Well, most of the people probably you've never physically met, and that's interesting. What you said about having them come on, and there's a grooming period where they're actually being really friendly. Like, looks like a nice guy. It's not just a message that's blatantly like scammy with a link or something in the opening thing, like click on this. So with that grooming period, I'm sure there's many different ways, but does that lead to then them getting you to connect your crypto wallet or your mobile phone to something and it gets drained, or like they ask for your seed? How actually do you end up getting scammed in the end, potentially?
Right. So it's never that obvious because they, again, target educated, smart people, people that worked very hard to get a degree and get a corporate job. So they will not go for the obvious. So they can either offer you uh, trading platforms that, give you a nice boost to your current finances based on, increasing inflation, right? They will make a lot of sense and they will press all the buttons. They are a genius when it comes to economical behavior, right? They will know what to say in order to introduce something that you wouldn't think about. And eventually it would end up with crypto because crypto essentially is the mechanism of withdrawing money from people where they know that law enforcement will be very, I would say, passive about it, right? Because the moment you say, and this is the continued problem here, yes, uh, because they understand the terrain well. So if you take someone else's crypto, right, fraudulently, and as a user, as the person who experienced it, you will go and report it to the police. Police will not, and we hire people that are ex federal forces and agencies. If your case is less than 10 mil, they are unlikely to onboard it and give you the
Wow.
service. And this is where we actually come in because, in a way, our technology offers us the means with Lionsgate Network to give you almost instantly a forensic analysis report that is so comprehensive that it's in fact an evidence that is to be served to law enforcement agencies with the here's my money and I need you now to react on it with a warrant or a subpoena. So we will do all the back end complex process that law enforcement will not um, cave in to do unless your case is really big. That's
Mm-hmm.
why we are serving the community of people that are very transparent to law enforcement agencies. So we connect the dots to them, including conferencing with law enforcement agencies. So to get on a live with a detective, give some mentorship, some advice. Sometimes they have very good questions, sometimes not so much. So we have to be able to go through the process of explaining what we have traced and what is the next step. Essentially, clients want to get back the money. They're not interested in academic talk. So there's a lot of comprehensive work in the back, and there's no case in the world where we can commit to the end goal, right? Like you can never commit to an actual recovery because you have the middleman, essentially, law enforcement, that needs to be able to close on a case. But with the forensic analysis that we provide, which is under licenses, etc., something that they can actually accept, the chances of completing the recovery journey is far higher than if you would to just go about it and try to get it from any other agency out there.
That's really interesting. The $10 million threshold. Maybe they should be updating that for. I feel like there's obviously a lot of people that are probably getting targeted for 1,000, 10,000. People's life savings, a few $100,000. But even
What would you propose? What would you propose?
I would
as a
say
threshold?
that sounds obscene, but at least 1 million, I would think would be worthy of the police enforcement. But maybe 100,000, but if it was fiat money, I think any amount, 10,000 would be the police would be getting involved.
I agree with you. I mean, it's so cutthroat to decide which case I'm going to take care of and which case I'm not going to take care of. We are not going to onboard cases that we know because we do, as you know, we've shared this on our first conversation. We will check the case before we will onboard it to see that there is enough collateral for law enforcement. We already know what they need. So if the case is not strong enough, if the preliminary analysis is not solid enough, we are going to let the case go. And there's no commitment whatsoever, not financial, not contractual. We basically proceed. We've earned data, the client earned insights and transparency, and they don't have to go about life thinking about the money they lost because we will give them. So in many ways, we say that we are the, you'll find this funny. We say that we are the MRI engineers and law enforcement are the surgeons, right? So when people come to us and say, we want you to recover our money, I said, we can help you with the MRI test. Essentially, law enforcement is the one who is going to offer the operation. We don't have that place. We don't have that space. So when we explain it like that, we find that a lot of people get what we do very quickly. And they also understand that no surgeon in the world will put you under anesthesia without the MRI, right? Like this is the step A. Without it, you can't move forward. 2025, right? I'm not talking about 1884.
Yeah.
Where they will give you a glass of wine before they'll, cut you up. So we have a protocol of service that is very transparent to the client, and it's very transparent to us. So we are very clear on what we do and what we can't do. Obviously, in our workshop department in the company, we have a workshop department that is always innovating new approaches and developing new approaches. There's a lot to come. And the idea, the vision, as you've started off today, is to really allow people to use crypto without all the fear and trauma that comes with it. And that is why we don't really adopt the market. The market is still for few years now is around 3 trillion, right?
Mm-hmm.
3 trillion. That sounds a lot, right? Not so much when you think about the fact that we've been here for 12 years with this thing that is the best hottest topic in the world. Crypto and AI are and blockchain, of course, which is crypto, the platform for crypto, is the hottest topics in the world from Africa to Chicago. We speak crypto, 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 right? The world is all around crypto because it is it sits on a wonderful technology. But who wants to buy a car that has the chance to go up in flames as you take your kids to school?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to buy that car. I'll take a bicycle. I'll take my bicycle.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what we experience with crypto
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, and no, it's fascinating. You mentioned their AI as part of the trifecta. I was going to ask you about that later in the conversation, and here we are now. Do you think the next time we talk, AI will be more prominent in this part of the tools of the sophistication to steal funds or do phishing scams?
I think AI is going to offer a solution into navigating through the threats we currently experience.
Hmm.
I believe AI is the right move and it's the right technology that arrives at the right time.
Hmm.
We can no longer rely on, unfortunately, human capacity. I mean, we are all humans and we do understand that the world is currently, you know, at its heights when it comes to population and services. And if we want to really free people from the tedious work that they really bad at, essentially, because they take so much time and they need another cigarette break and they need another coffee break. I mean, come on. I mean, it's great, but come on. Someone needs to get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to build things that allow people, and this is for people that are naysayers when it comes to AI. It will allow you to go to the beach. It will allow you to develop a dream from your childhood that you have abandoned. It
Mm-hmm.
will allow you to live life and travel the world. And people think, yes, but where money will come from? Money is a topic, it's an idea, essentially. But let's not get too deep for our viewers out there. But the notion of money is commodities,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, in the most simple way for today's conversation, I just want to say that uh, we need to reminisce a little bit about how we've lived 3,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a lot of freedom. Now we have great technology to support even like a far better life on medicine, right? Aviation, services, right?
Mm-hmm.
Food, agriculture. There's so many. So I mean, all the areas have developed so much, and I think the instrument to really get us through the pain we feel right now in the world, the scarcity of good service, is in fact AI.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah,
I love that
that's how I see
perspective.
it.
Yeah, I think there's I don't think people look into it too deep, but I think a lot of people they hear that AI is going to take your job rather than take it in a good way that allows you to have more freedom but still earn income, or that it's going to be used to make deep fakes, which might help with crypto scams become more prevalent. But I think there's a lot of good, and the potential is just growing. Even the AI and the inferencing that we have right now compared to last year and 2 years ago, it's gotten 50 times, 100 times better. And in the
Mhm.
next 2 years, we might all be at the beach.
Yes, because essentially, I mean, you can be at the beach, you can be at the library, you can be wherever you want, but you can be. I mean, I know so many friends of mine and family members that are spending so much time in traffic.
Mm-hmm. That's the worst.
And yes, exactly. because there is a change, and we feel that friction right now. Okay, we feel that friction. Um, so there's a lot more threats out there. Yes, but we just need to be able to create solutions that continue to offer service, right? And the grid of how we experience life should be fine. Um, I'm all about innovation, and I'm all about using technology to serve humans. I think the missing parts we have about what job will I do are going to be exchanged the moment we will let go of an old notion that we are so clinged to right now. We can see behind the the I would say the field because we are on the other side. So we have to go through that, I would say, force field that is of the mind to understand the better options we will have once we will. And again, it's all human based, right? I mean, you can use anything for anything, right? Um, so 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 that takes me to speak about regulation, about like we need good people to be able to sit on the thrones of decision makers that understand the risk and also understand the potential, right? You have to really liberate old notions. Um,
Yeah, well,
essentially,
with the regulation, it seems like the new United States is very positive for crypto. It's been the most bullish crypto that administration that we've seen, and there's a lot of adoption happening, and there's talk of stablecoin regulation of DeFi, whether it's good or bad. Do you think that there will be regulation or administration getting deeper into the crypto scam side to ensure that this is more similar to traditional finance, where if there's an issue we can get it solved, and there's councils and there's teams set up like crypto SWAT teams that can actually solve crypto scams and stop them before they happen?
I think that the more they invest in crypto, the more the administration and administrations around the world invest in crypto, the more they realize that if you don't have the human trust, then it's not getting anywhere. Because if everyone will pull out their crypto back to fiat, the market will collapse. So there is some kind of a field that is protected, right? People still keep some of their money, some of them keep all their money in Bitcoin, in Ethereum, right? In other tokens from the 1.5 million.
Yeah.
So they've made that decision to cross over. And it's based on a feeling that it is the best way for my money to currently be at, right? That's how they see it. So trust is super, and is the superpower to any token evaluation, any company evaluation, right? It's it's basically the most important thing that there is out there. So if we're going to see, I'll give you a picture. If we're going to see like threats that are not being taken care of, you can be pro as much as you want, administration level, but the one that are actually putting money into meme coins or Bitcoin is the public, right?
Yeah.
So essentially, that is the most important thing. So if you're not going to combat threats in the space, people are not going to be as friendly about it anymore, right? Um, like, would you go out 1 a.m. in the morning in a place where they tell you that they snatch your watch from the risk? Probably not. Like you'll try to avoid it as much as you can.
Yeah.
which is what they told me about Brazil. But I had only beautiful experiences there.
Mm.
I was like, "What are you talking about? No, it's a great space."
Mm-hmm.
So again, my experience was different, but again, for crypto, you have people that say, "Oh my God, I've made so much money." These people get the spotlight, and those are not get those that are their money is being taken from them are not getting enough spotlight. So what one of the things that we started the conversation with is awareness. If we are able to increase awareness around threats, okay, it's maybe not a love song, but it's the best tune to help people react in the space,
Yeah.
right? Because a lot of people know, and they obviously take advantage of the crypto market to gain. And a lot of people don't, and those that don't, we kind of need to help them facilitate a different behavior in the space. Um, and this could really, really change the entire market end to end.
Yeah, no, the prevention is obviously the best key. The best way to get your crypto back is to not lose it in the first place and not have to go through that hassle. I have a couple other questions surrounding, if someone does lose their crypto, with Lionsgate and with your forensic technology, is there a lower limit? If I lose 1,000, is that okay to come to you? And how quickly or is it potentially? Of course, there's so many variables depending on where it is and the technology and how you sent it. And like, can it be recovered? Obviously, the long end of the spectrum is it never gets recovered, but quickly. Have you been able to quickly recover smaller amounts of funds for people that have come to Lionsgate?
So that's how it works. Part of the vertical that we verify before we onboard a case is exactly that: how much you lost. What is your net loss investment or net loss amount? We think about it from the perspective of law enforcement. Are they likely to onboard it from Kentucky? Are they likely to onboard it in New York? So we have out the United States of America when it comes to state, local, and federal.
Yeah.
Okay, and we already understand their playbook, right? So if I know that I can provide you, back to the MRI idea, if I can provide you the analysis and I know it will not be working for you, the surgeon will not take care of you, law enforcement will ignore the case, I will actually dismiss the case because it will not serve your purpose and your goal. So we have 24 verticals that we actually verify the back end before we onboard a case. Not only if we have traced your funds to a wallet, that is the most obvious, right? But there are other verticals that are very necessary for you. And we want to be with all the candor in the world to tell you, you know what? We love you to death, but your case is not going to get recovered and we'll have to relinquish it. We'll offer you the freemium analysis, the prevention kit. It's extremely successful in the company because it gives you an updated ways to prevent the next case. Because what we found is that once once you've been targeted successfully, you are most likely to get targeted again. Okay,
Yeah.
and time after time after time. So this is like a continuous. Think about that. Your data, Ashton, is on like in darknet. As someone who has been successfully targeted, you are going to find very peculiar communications with your WhatsApp, with your Telegram, with your TikTok account, with your LinkedIn account. Okay, you'll be targeted all around, and sometimes for years to come. Okay, so the prevention kit is something we are very proud of, and we've launched it 6 months ago. And it's one of the things that even if we can't give you service, we want to give you clarity, right? And we want to give you something like, I would say, the best food in the world for you right now, the best diet for you in the world right now, based on your experience, something that will guide you through, will be your anchor or your guidelight for the years ahead.
No, that's really good to know. And I guess those two resources, if I'm looking to learn more about the LinkedIn scams or the other social manipulation, do you guys have that prevention kit or other documentation or case studies on these are the ways, these are the things I should look for, these are the places I should watch, and any other tips to help prevent it from happening in the first place?
Yes, of course. I mean, our website is quite rich in content. We Everything we learn, we take there. So if you visit Lionsgate.network, and only Lionsgate.network, because we've been targeted as well for Lionsgate app or lionsgatenetwork.com. So I had to buy, I'm not a big shopper, but I had to buy after the fifth incident, like 30. It was
Yeah.
horrible. But I had to do it because it was one of the advices that we've received from the IT department. So essentially, make sure that you visit our website. And you have blog section, you have research and resources section, where we have basically gone state by state and given a reflection of state by states in the US. We are publishing it as we are going, because everything that we do in the US, specifically in the US, because obviously it's the biggest market and it's the most vulnerable market, because you have great people that have worked for many, many years to make money and pension and retire comfortably. And now, as they sit in their, like on their chair, they're getting these attacks. Like, it's heinous. And we really need to be able to think about it as, like, we don't think about it as, oh, these people are crypto users. These are human beings that are an essential part of the community. And if they can't buy, their next product, everyone in their community is in its collateral. There is a collateral effect to all of it. Okay. And that's why I say that we are nuclear, because we see what we do from a very different perspective. And it's a very consumer based, but not, oh, let's make as much money as we can from these people. Absolutely not. Let's try to really offer a service that no one else can offer. This is the intent. And that's why we always are on an agile, I would say, landscape, right? We're always changing, because you always have to change, essentially, because the space changes as well. Okay, I'll give you one story that I think will fascinate you. So a few days ago, we are receiving information that a client received a letter to his home address in the US, and it's a letter from Ledger Wallet. And it says your wallet wasn't updated for a while. There is a risk of security. Here is a QR code. Please connect. What do you think was happened?
I think people get your home address and they infiltrate, and obviously that QR code's probably going to a scam site that's going to steal your funds.
And that's it. And I'll give you more information. I cannot share everything, but the information that I can share is that we know that Ledger database was hacked. So it means they have these people names, addresses, and balance. So it basically means that this could be like a very sincere call to action, when you actually realize that it wasn't. The good thing is that because it's blockchain, we can trace it to exactly where it is, even if it's stashed in a Uniswap. And we can do that in less than 9 seconds. Okay? Our technology allows I know that I bury the headline. I love to do that. But essentially, in less than 9 seconds, we are able to trace the funds in a very particular uh, way. And that information is enough for us to build a case. It doesn't mean that this is the case. It means that immediately almost uh, are able to realize where the funds are at. And that is part, I mean, that is part thanks to usage of ML and AI, which allows us to really, I mean, the scammer worked very hard to disguise the transaction route. And that's what I mean about we just need to be able to use better tactics and improve means and tools so that we can do so much better. And we are obviously being challenged by bad actors that are very good at what they do.
Definitely. Well, I love that you mentioned on the site, it even goes state by state. And that makes total sense that if you're working with local authorities, the case might be treated differently in Alabama versus California.
Absolutely.
So that's really good to know. And so obviously there's a lot of blog posts, documentation there, and I'm guessing as well if you actually want to come for to see if they'll take your case, then also you can go to lionsgate.network and apply or send your information.
Yes, there is like a questionnaire that will give us the insights we need about the case. All of our all the analysis part is done back end, but we always present it to a client. We need them to know. That's part of the awareness, right? If you made a mistake and you don't know how you made it, because that's how it happens with crypto sometimes, we want to show you what you've skipped, right? And that's for us education. And it's a worthwhile one, right? Because you want to be able to see it for yourself. And that's why we say we're not phishing. We'll fish the information for you from the water in that sense. But we need you to be a fisherman yourself, essentially. Because when you are with the scammers, we're not there to hold your hand.
Yeah.
And that is very important for the process of waking up. If you want to speak about woke movement, is about knowing that crypto essentially is all about knowing that you are the owner of these assets. And if you surrender them, then you have a call center or a support group to call on to. Okay, if you wake up to that, you've done your job and you've pivoted from fiat, we are the bank, we are the custodian for your money, to blockchain, a lot of freedom, but a lot of responsibility that comes with it, that offers crypto tokens that says it's in your hand to give it away to anyone you want, even though you don't actually want to. So this is where we are. Funny, but true.
Yeah, no, the be your own bank, you really have to take that seriously, which is why we need more education like this, like what you're doing. And as the scams become more polished and especially incorporating new technologies, new social platforms, new other verticals where there's potential attack vectors, it's just so important to stay informed because you're the one who's responsible for your funds and keeping them or losing them. So I really appreciate your insights, B, into the LinkedIn part. It's super important in understanding what you're putting out there, how much information, personal information you're putting. And also part of, for example, if you bought a ledger in the last 10 years, that their database, now they have your information. Once they get hacked, you might not know. I knew that ledger was compromised, but now you're getting mail and you might have not known that ledger was hacked. So you just have to be careful about all these different avenues and where information is coming from. I've also had scammers come through a friend's account that they hacked the friend, then they're messaging me, and I thought it was my friend, right? Because it's on your friend's account. But you never know where these manipulations are coming from. So I think,
And what can you do? And you can say, get on a video call like we do right now. Get on a
yeah,
video call. And if your friend tells you, I actually can't, and you will say, I actually can't as well.
yeah,
You know what I mean? We
yeah,
have to take it back to web zero in a way, in a way, evolve. We want to skip the skins and bones, but eventually, if you want to verify, you really have to be tactical about it. If you've seen those James Bond or Mission Impossible, which I love, uh, you know, sometimes when they meet with the so-called protagonist or their the person they know in the film, they check if they have a mask on, right? Like, you know, they try to see if it's real hair or if it's like a face on a face, if it's a prosthesis, right? Um, this is the kind of validation we need to start again to encourage ourselves to request on a day-to-day base, okay? And recognize that this is currently this is the pain in the world, okay? And we just need to be able to but this is not just about crypto. It's true for any SMS you get, any text message, WhatsApp, any phone call, any letter, right? You really have to do you really have to be your own protector of your own realm. And if you need tools and vehicles and programs and education, come to our website because everything is there. That was too clear in the call. Like, it's very clear to us in the call that if you know what it if you've been a magician, you are unlikely to clap to someone on stage who gets a rabbit from their hat because you know how they did it.
yeah, yeah. I appreciate the good work that you and your team are doing, and no one wants to see anybody else get scammed or lose money. So the more preventative measures that we're aware about, the better. I'm gonna even take a look as somebody who gets targeted. I'm gonna take a look through your blog posts and documentation again on Lionsgate.network to keep up to date because there's always new vectors coming out, and I'm gonna double check my LinkedIn as well. I really appreciate your insights, B, on this. Wishing you and the team all the best in continuing to help people protect their assets if they're being their own bank, and to get them back if they happen to fall for something. But let's keep those numbers down. That 1 in 3 is a ridiculous number that we need to lower
Yeah.
down. So yeah, wishing you guys all the best, and thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Thanks, Ashton. All the best.